You know what? There's a great video out that's a few years old, and it's on a stage like this, and it's Steve Jobs and Bill Gates and two interviewers from a tech conference. They're at a conference like this, I think, and it was one of the last times that Steve Jobs was on stage prior to his death. And you know the history of Bill Gates and Paul Allen just passed away last week, the co-founder of Microsoft. And they're talking about the early days. And as I just, and I've read about the rivalry between Gates and Jobs and the fight between Microsoft and Apple in those early days. And so what I would think would be typical of those early days, Gates is describing the early days of Microsoft and Apple, and Jobs interrupts him. They're seated on the stage. Bill, do you remember when we were the two youngest kids in the room? And now, we're the two oldest kids in the room. What happened to time? As you ever think. So Gary says, he's excited. That's just because we're the two oldest guys in the room, and we don't know any better, and and so we're just glad to see each other. I told him before he got started, and I know you feel this way. He didn't, at the time of his life and all the things that he has done for Kansas education and here in Hutchinson and other places. He didn't have to come out of retirement and do what he's doing. And just give me a round of applause. He just So this is the last place you want to be on a Friday midday. All right? So Gary, thank you for coming. You had to come. You wouldn't have been here. Some of you, I saw camped out early for tickets. By the way, I'm doing Bill Donahue for you young people that don't know who that was. And I saw you guys filled up this back row. Like, you waited to get here to get the back row seats. All right? Yeah. Typical teachers. Okay. I just think of myself as one of you. And I'm just saying hi to Maria. And, her thoughts are, I got sub-state tomorrow. Will you shut up? I got to go play Lawrence here soon. And you've got the play coming up, and you've got grades that are due, and probably conferences wrapped around. And I think of school, I think you think of this too, right? It's not this marathon. Teaching is not a marathon. It's a series. It's like the Olympic trials, and you have to run the 400-meter sprint. The difference between the Olympic trials and what you do, I think, how many of you have ever seen a middle school track meet in Kansas? Okay? Lots of you. Have you ever seen a 400-meter sprint? I'm using that term loosely with middle school kids. In Kansas, in the spring, they all get on the line and they're so enthusiastic, right? And then the gun goes off. And as they come around about 300 meters, around the last curve, and the Kansas wind hits them full force. You ever seen these kids do this? Trying to get to the pipe and puking their guts. You've seen this, right? Right? So you came back in August, you're like, I'm excited to be back. And today you're going, oh Lord, please, let's have a break. You'll be the Halloween, right? You'll come back. You'll be okay, I gotta run another trial. Give me the Thanksgiving and Christmas. Right? And then you get I come back. Get me to spring break. See, and every one that you run in that sequence gets a little tougher, doesn't it, until you get to the May. So I just want to thank you. I want to thank you for coming today to think about this thing we call school. Not your classroom, not the lesson plans, not the play tonight, not the sub-state volleyball that you got, not the football playoffs. All of that, not the grades that you have to get done, not the bulletin board you got to switch out. You like my daughter? My daughter does one a day. I might come up with these ideas. I'm not that creative. My wife, she does our house by the month. You guys like that? So we're in the Halloween mode. As soon as Halloween's over, we switch to Thanksgiving. So I know you all went through people like, I gotta get my bulletin boards. Come on. All right? So I just want you to think about this thing called school, but you never think about it. Principals never think about it. Superintendents rarely think about it because we all went to it. So we think about our classroom and we think about what activities we direct. You know, if you're the FFA director, and we think about how to engage kids in that way, but I want you to think about school. So I want to start, I think, to highlight what I see as one of the deficiencies in school. And I noticed when you came in this morning, you came in and you got seated, hopefully voluntarily, I think it was, but look to your left and look to your right. Oh, those are really smart people. Okay? I think so. And in about 3 weeks, we have an election in Kansas. Well, we will elect everything in our state from governor would be the top of that list, to city commissioners and county commissioners and representatives at the state level. It's an off year for school board, but in some years it's school board members, and a lot of things. State school board members. So one of the things that I think, well, not think, Kansas told us that they wanted kids civically engaged. And I've just watched lots of schools go about doing great community service and engaging, and we've got, football teams and soccer teams that are, doing food drives, and there's some remarkable things. Our kids are just remarkable, aren't they? I mean, they're just remarkable people. But I think, the start of that is voting. So I'm going to give you 10 seconds in just a second. And you can not only turn to your left and turn to your right, you can turn around. You can tap the person in front of you. I'm going to give you 10 seconds to see how many of the elected State Board of Education members you can name. Ready? Go. 10 seconds is all we get. There are 10 of them already. You got 5 seconds. Okay. All right. How'd you do? Some of you want to walk in and be reseated with someone else. How many got more than 5? There are 10. How many got more than 5? Okay, so we've all gone to school, right? I'm not even going to grade on curve. We're going to call this a criterion calculus test. It was 10 question quiz, right? Come a pop quiz here on a Friday morning. So I asked for 5, which probably doesn't get to any of the middle school and high school level of passing, but I'm going to give you that. No one gets 5. How about 4? Gary's getting pretty good. How about 3? 2? Great. 2. 1. Guess what? Kim Willard is your representative. Oftentimes he would have been with me. He lives here in Hutchinson. Okay, hopefully you've got Ken. Sometimes you would be seated here, so is it right? Here they are. They're elected by region. Jim Porter is the chair. Kathy Bush is the vice chair. Here's why I bring this up. For 2 reasons. These people, every month meet. They control your licensure. They control the standards of which you teach. And they control whether or not this school and this district are accredited. And you don't know who they are. And by the way, in the recent primary in August, less than 30% of Kansas voted. Of the registered voters in Kansas, less than 30% turned out to vote. So when we ask, in Kansas want our kids to be civically engaged, I got a challenge for all of you. You need to know who's running for office. You need to know who will impact. Because, by the way, there's not a thing that Gary and I and other people can do if people get elected that don't have your value system. What is your value system? I don't know. Don't really care. What I want you to do is find out what every candidate at every level is about, and I want you to exercise. Is it Halloween? We got lights going on and off, a little spooky. I want you to go vote. All right? And I'm just going to tell you, I had a state senator tell me not too long ago, who's very supportive of education, Randy, it doesn't matter because teachers don't vote. They just don't vote. One superintendent in Johnson County went down and got who voted. Was faculty at a large high school like Hutchinson. 18% of faculty had voted in the primary. Okay? These people control your licensure. You want to complain about that? You don't even know what they are. They control your accreditation. You don't get accredited as a school, you lose your license, and no kid can go on because they're not from an accredited school. And the standards of which you're required to teach, that's all these people. So, we're good. See, I think this is instructive about school, about how we think about school going forward. So we're going to talk about this in a couple of ways. We're going to talk about it from a metric standpoint. What does lead the world look like? Because, I think it's okay to keep score, and I'm a little competitive, and so we want to keep score on really important things. We're going to talk about things that aren't so important, but we're going to talk about this. Now, I think we've got two groups in the audience. How many of you started your education career in any capacity prior to the year 1998? That's 20 years ago, prior to the year. Ooh. Oh, that's 20 years ago. I know some of you were thinking that was just yesterday. That's 20. Hey, just for today, all right? I know, I still have a home in McPherson where we've lived since 92. But I grew up in Southeast Kansas. So, just for today, and I say this as an endearing term, is it okay if we call you veterans? Because otherwise we call you old. Veterans, okay. How many of you started your career from the last 20 years, 1998 to today? I'd say it's about 60-40, Gary. All right? Now, again, I'm a Southeast Kansas kid, so right on the Oklahoma border. We'll bash on Oklahoma all day long. All right? And Missouri a little bit, too, because it's easy. Okay, so we're that. Yeah, it's really easy. So those of you from 98 to today, it's okay if we call you youngins. Youngins, okay? Now, veterans, I know we're going to stretch you a little bit. I know, a little early onset dementia, but we need you to be at your feet today because we got to teach the youngins a few things that you have forgotten about. Right? Do you remember a time when you came to school to teach and the value of what you did every single day was the relationship you had with that kid and that family and how you taught, and you didn't need a test at all to tell you whether you were doing well? How many of you remember that? You youngins out there, you're going, I don't know what he's talking about. You remember that, don't you? Then we hijacked that under something called No Child Left Behind. Right? Some of you just had nightmare flashbacks right there. Because a great goal, we want kids to read and do math, turned into this. Right? Veterans? Who are veteran elementary people? Like 4th and 5th grade teachers. Veteran 4th and 5th grade. All right, man. How long have you taught at 4th and 5th grade? 31 years, okay? So during No Child Left Behind there, see if this is kind of, you come back after Christmas, and you I had a little break. It was a nice 2-week break. Got to spend time with my family. Get ready. It's on. No social studies, no science. Let's take you from recess. Special ed teacher, get the special ed people in here. We got to get the kids up to reading proficient, in reading math. I got to take my results to the school board. Heck, I got to go to Walmart tonight. People are going to know who I am when the test scores come out. Right? Am I right? If you, PE, who teaches PE, art, music, who teaches electives? You're just lucky to have a job. we didn't care about them. Am I right? No. There's tremendous pressure. And third grade teachers, you know what you did. Where's the third grade? Yeah, you know what you did. You looked at the second grade and said, well, you didn't get these kids up to grade level. You don't have to test, and it's all on me. Second grade looked at first grade looked at kindergarten, kindergarten said, have you seen the parents? Am I right? And I know what you said, 31 years. You said to your principal, you said to your superintendent, this is nuts. This is stupid. This is crazy. And then at some point, you just shut up because you wanted to keep your job. And what was a good goal became a horrible law because we drove away all the incentives of what we think about success. So here's what I want you to think about today. I want you to change today your discussion about it. Your job is not simply to raise student achievement. It's not. It's to raise student success. And would you agree? Achievement is a subsection of that, but not everything. Would you agree with that? All right. But it wasn't No Child Left Behind. It just was. Because we had to hang the Standard of Excellence banner somewhere in the school. Right? I still see it. We haven't given that out since 2011. I just was out of school last week on the building. Like, you walk to the building, lighting, all mounted on the building. Standard of Excellence winner 2009-10. What that meant was, I taught, if you taught PE, we don't care. Can you help teach reading? So, and then when budget cuts got tight, we cut counselors, we cut nurses, we cut social workers, we cut art teachers, like my daughter. Right? Why? Because we had to produce at a higher rate than every kid, you know. So, I want you to think about success today. And veterans, I'm pleading with you to go back in your memory and think about all the things you do to help kids be successful as we go through this. So, I want you to think about this. I'm going to show you a clip. I think my life, I'm a simple guy. I think my life can be summed up if you take certain parts of 3 movies. American Graffiti, which we're going to see a clip of. You guys have no idea that George Lucas actually had an idea prior to Star Wars. Animal House. That's a story for another day. And When Harry Met Sally. So I think it can be summed up and certainly you can figure out which parts in any of the 3 movies. But I'm going to show you something that most everyone in this theater auditorium had a common experience. It was called Cruising Main Street. Whatever you call it. We call it 8th Street in Coffeyville. All right? American Graffiti.
Listen, I don't think I'm going to be going tomorrow.
Come on, what are you talking about?
Well, I was thinking I'm waiting here, go to sleep.
arrested? We're finally getting out of this turkey town. Now you want to call back into your cell, right? Right now, John. You just can't stay 17 forever. It's just got my name in your ass. You need some time. Never talk to you. Now take it. Take it. Now we're leaving in the morning, all right? We're leaving in the morning.
Oh, there's so many things I love about that clip. It's the last night after high school graduation before they all go their separate ways for the rest of their life. If you know the movie, first of all, you got to get through the great list of characters, right? That played in this movie. Richard Dreyfuss does get on the plane to go off to college. Ron Howard character does not. Cindy Williams convinces him, stay home. I don't want you to go. And they cruise all night. It's the story of them. So one of the things, I remember as a little kid at Coffeyville, in the middle of the summer, you veterans might remember this, transistor radio, okay, AM, tuning in, and on some nights, you can hear Wolfman Jack for just a few minutes, and then it would fade back out. Remember that? And that was cool, You youngins are going, it's Bill Donahue, we don't understand any of this. So how many of you cruised Main Street as a kid? It's a common experience. You know what? If you went to school, think about this. If you went to school, high school, in the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, into the mid-90s, into the late 90s, we all had a common experience no matter where we grew up. We asked our friends, hey, you got some change? You got a buck? We can get $1 worth of gas in the old days, right? We'll cruise until we have to go park, in this case, Mel's driving, in Coffeyville was the A&W, until they kicked you out. And I thought about you guys that came in on the back, because we used to go to Taos Midland Theater, and we would try to sit in a balcony, and old lady Pearl would kick us out, because we were up to no good all the time. And you would ride, and you'd park for a while, then you'd cruise, you'd do the one-finger wave to everyone, and you knew who had the really rocking cars, and you knew who the cute girls were, and at the end of the night, it all ended and you went home. Right? I was just yesterday, I served on the Youth Suicide Task Force for the Attorney General. We were in Johnson County yesterday, and a young lady, we had a panel of students, and a young lady who gave a very emotional testimony talking about her struggles with mental illness, mental health. And she says, my parents and you don't understand. My entire life is here. Here. We have, all of us probably have one of these. But their life is here. They don't cruise Maine. Have you noticed that? I was in Coffeyville recently on I think, a Thursday night. And I thought, oh man, I don't get home very often. I'm just going to go cruise 8th Street. I didn't see a car. I'm not making that up. I got on where I would get on and cruise the mile. Did not see a car. The other night on a Saturday, my wife and I were having this conversation because we were going to the steeple to see Three Dog Night. And by the way, we're in the audience. She goes, "Are we the oldest people? Are the youngest people here?" Because but we turned on Santa Fe to go down to the steeple, and my wife said, "We're talking about this. This is where we cruise." I said, let's just see how many kids are out on a Saturday night at 7 o'clock there was none. Bunch of old people like us going to see Three Dog Night, right? We had a common experience, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. Almost 50 years, that really did not change. The type of car changed, the amount of gas changed, where you parked and stopped. And it's all different. All right? It's all different. And I use this because I need you to, you know this intellectually, but I need you to deeply think about this organization of school that makes absolutely no sense for what kids are going to enter in 2018, much less The kindergartners are 2031. Like some of you are like, what? That's way too far. I'll be my 85 minutes by then. I'm out of here. Right? It makes no sense. Go talk to the business leaders in Hutchinson. All right, we're going to talk about that. Go talk about the business leaders go talk to your parents. Go talk to educators. We're the only organization that hasn't changed. And it's not anyone in this auditorium's fault. It's not the superintendent or school board. It's because people love schools to stay the same. There are American graffiti. You know, when I went to Coffeyville, I drove by Garfield Elementary where I went to school. It's a church now. But there's something about just seeing it and driving by that's comforting. That's why people come back to reunions, right? To reminisce. Even all the bad times that were in school, we tend to remember the good. And they're attached to our youth. And we want to recapture our youth. Whether it's 5 years out, 10 years out, or 50, 60 years out, we want to recapture our youth. That's why when you go on campus at KU or K-State or any of the universities, you notice how little really changes. I mean, we're in Allen Fieldhouse. Why? Why don't they tear down stinking Allen Fieldhouse? Who would like to tear down Allen Fieldhouse? Let's go, you K-Staters. You know, I always said, I'm a K-Stater, so why did they build Bramlage? Because we sucked in basketball at the time. And that was the only reason it was allowed to happen, right? And so, it's tradition, it's history. You can remodel it, right? It's attached to you. So, we've only had 2 models of education. Anyone here attend a one-room schoolhouse? Usually we have some. What, in Kansas? Did you attend in Kansas? Michigan? For your entire, just kindergarten, okay? Anyone else attend? We had somebody, yes ma'am, where at?
Arkansas.
Arkansas, and for how many years?
Just first grade.
Just first grade. We had some of these in Reno and McPherson County up until the early 1980s, here in central Kansas. Okay? There's one I think maybe the last one, maybe that closed, is a church right on Old 81 Highway south of McPherson. You can see it. And you can see these all over, right? The remnants of it. But so 2 models. We only have 2 people here that remember this model. What are the grade levels of this? 1 through 8. Then Shane, you went to kindergarten, and yours, because in Kansas we didn't have kindergarten in that era. Oh, you were the first kindergarten. That's cool. All right? 1 through 8. Here's the older kids. Here's the younger kids. The older kids taught the younger kids. How many teachers? 1. Thus a one room schoolhouse. All right? This is a model. This is a deeply entrenched model from the time we organized as a territory for at least until 1964 and 65. 100 years ago, in this state, there were over 10,000 of these schools on every section of land. So, you want to know where the adage came? I had to walk to school a mile in the snow, uphill, each way. It was because there was no busing, there was no Suburbans, and kids walked to school. And guess when they went to school? How did they know, and this, by the way, is in Russell County,